Women in Education.
Nowadays, we live in a world in which women are more bound to have a proper education. But in many cases, social or familiar circumstances make it impossible to them to access a quality education.
This is Lucia, a 16-year-old girl who lives in Spain. She has just ended her ESO studies and is looking forward to enroll on a higher degree on social education, which is her passion.
This is Mei-Ling, a 16-year-old girl from China. Her mother had to abandon her for different circumstances. Julia, a Spanish single woman, couldn't adopt her as China's policy of adoption doesn't let single women take care of their children, and this resulted in her living in an orphanage. Nowadays, as Mei-Ling has to stay in her orphanage, she cannot attend a high-quality education as she would have done in an ordinary school.
This is Chanta Heavy, a 16-year-old girl from Cambodia. She hasn't been able to access a higher education than primary as the terrible Khmer Rouge party killed almost all the educated class in Cambodia, as they prefer to rule over illiterate people. The consequences the massacre had are still perceptible nowadays, and to access education is improbable, especially for women that don't even finish primary studies and are condemned to work in rice fields like Chanta Heavy does since she was 13 years old.
This is Cecilia, a 16-year-old Peruvian girl. At age 12, she was about to end her primary studies, and at the age of 14, she wanted to access a higher degree. But unfortunately, she got pregnant due to the lack of sexual education of her country. Now, she is taking care of her baby and isn't able to continue with her studies.
Four different lives, but is there anything that catches your eye? Exactly. The education around the world is very different and complex, but it is sometimes too unknown for us. This causes a lot of ignorance and in fact makes us forget that education is not something granted for everyone, and we still have to fight for all those who are looking for a future, especially girls who keep being excluded in that aspect of life, because of sexism, because of the danger of the way to school, or because it is socially looked down upon that girls study.
So now, more than ever, as boys and girls from Irlandesas, we need your help to follow the example of Mary Ward, one of those women to whom we must thank for being able to study. To continue what she started, raise your voice and give a hand to promote all kinds of education. Because not only is it important to know how to divide or multiply, but also help women to learn about their value and their rights.